Hey, hello, how are you? Hope you're doing great. This video contains information that is hugely obvious, yet I feel like the obvious information still needs to be discussed, especially in terms of safety and being successful for spotting animals while driving the back roads. What I call auto animal spotting is simply spotting animals while driving our cars on the back roads. Driving the back roads is really enjoyable to just relax and enjoy the scenery. For me, driving the back roads can be kind of addictive. When my wife and I go out and we spot a hawk, we used to count lots of hawks out on these back roads, and we got really good at it. So spotting one animal, we would go, okay, now we're ready to see the second or the third or the fourth. So it's kind of addicting for us. And nowadays it's mainly how many deer can we spot on a drive. Here are the topics that I will have in this video. Auto animal spotting versus just a scenic cruise, preparations for your health, safety, and how to spot animals. And finally, my conclusion. Honestly, the bulk of this video is really going to have a lot on safety. Extremely important. And then the next largest topic is how to spot animals, and that sort of bleeds into my conclusion as well. I know I can reliably give you this information because I have a lot of experience. I've driven all over the U.S., primarily in my hub, which is Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, which has a huge amount of variety. So, with that, I think it's time to get into the video. So, let's go. I want to begin by explaining how auto animal spotting is vastly different from a scenic cruise. Auto animal spotting is taking back roads to relax at a gentle pace in order to spot and watch wildlife. A scenic cruise is often a drive only, either slow or fast, spirited, on scenic roads, regardless of the types of roads. They can be scenic highways, byways, or back roads. Cars on a scenic cruise can also enjoy being more loud and aggressive. Preparations are next to nothing. Primarily, choose a day where it's simply not raining, snowing, sleeting, that kind of jazz. Otherwise, even the most foggy and gloomy days can be very good for spotting critters. It is preferred that your car is fairly quiet, not loud or aggressively loud. That defeats the whole purpose by scaring animals away. Common sense might tell you that a car with cup holders and a way of securing loose items would be very beneficial as well. We drive sports cars like our GR86 and C8Z06. Not ideal. Trucks and SUVs are probably best. Hopefully, you'll take time to map out your trip mentally or actually using a map. You might even consider using something like Google Maps Street View to review the most interesting portions of roads. Aside from all of that, having a co-pilot helps greatly too. Auto animal spotting can be a great way to escape busy city life. It is a stress-reducing activity, a relaxing distraction from the trials and tribulations of everyday life. Observing wildlife can improve mental clarity and mood. Furthermore, you can learn about the local ecosystems and animal behaviors. For older adults, auto animal spotting helps maintain mental acuity through planning, decision-making, and engaging in active searches. While out on an auto animal spotting drive, you might also benefit from a scenic walk. None of this is true if you're unprepared and unaware of the dangers. Trying to watch an animal while driving, maybe taking pics and vids, requires safety knowledge. Here are some tips for safety. As part of your preparations, you really should consider safety first. You can look up spotting animals while driving and quickly get driving tips from car insurance companies. Of course, but there's much more to consider. Some of what I have to go over for safety is again fairly obvious. Please bear with me. Also, I'm emphasizing spotting from cars, not from walks, hikes, and whatnot. As you can see from this accident prevention list, I have a lot to go over and I'll try to do it quick. I begin in this portion of the video with letting you know that there are rules to follow in national parks. These rules are good for all viewing locations. The rules include stay back at least 25 yards from most wildlife. Stay back at least 100 yards from predators. Stay on trails. Control your pets. Drive slow. Stop your vehicle completely off the road. Be quiet in or out of the vehicle. Remain still if out of the vehicle. No camera flash photography. Note, in national parks, it's illegal to feed, touch, tease, frighten, or intentionally disturb wildlife. Be sure to read all national parks information before going out. First responders, medical, fire, police may be a very long way off, perhaps over 30 minutes away. The fire and medical may be comprised of volunteers who can certainly be further off than you might think. It might be very important to do a little research on news, local news outlets, national park news, and so forth. Drive during the daytime hours. It's simply safer, period. Remain alert. Focus on the road. Watch for speed limits and animal signs. Watch for dead animal splats and actual dead critters. And consider skid marks. They are all clues for animal traffic. Drive slow. We go about 45 to 50, never over 55. Driving slow also helps you drive more quietly. Where is the sun? Is the sun in your eyes or other drivers' eyes coming towards you? Never swerve unless you know it will help. If an animal or herd is blocking the road, you might flash your lights and honk your horn gently to get them to move. This is even true for groups of vultures on the road. Again, be patient and let them move if you can. And be sure to look for other animals straggling behind. Pull over if you plan on stopping. Use flashers if you have stopped. If you are in a park, then use the roadside pullouts with all four tires off the road. Never block the road and never drive over the roadside vegetation. If you're photo shooting, consider turning off the car once pulled off the road. Side note, if a lot of cars pull up and/or park, that may cause a traffic jam, which is to be avoided. Stay in your car, never get out and trespass on private property. By staying in the car, you can avoid pests like ticks and mosquitoes. If you get out, then have insect repellent. Turn off the radio. Your goal is to escape civilization and connect with nature. The radio is a distraction. Animals are skittish, and hearing the radio from your car will not help your endeavor. Pets can be super fun if they are controlled or already well behaved. Simply plan for them, especially if going through parks. Keep your distance from most animals to reduce complications, such as other drivers may suddenly appear, resulting in an animal doing something very unpredictable. A co-pilot needs to do the bulk of spotting. A co-pilot may use binoculars or a camera with a telephoto lens. Avoid using bright lights if possible if you're driving at night. Maybe. I have seen some sources say you should use your high beams. I really don't know the answer, but I do use my brights. Be considerate of other drivers. Learn to get out of their way. I have developed my personal style for doing this. You will need to develop your own method too. While you may take snacks and drinks for yourself, it's not advised to take anything for the animals. Your goal is to view only. Food to lure animals, perhaps for photographs, is not a good idea. Remember, you are possibly a long way from help if you get bit or injured by an animal. Animals are often scared or very anxious or cautious. Animals may move off the road slowly or just even stare you down while in the middle of the road. Weird, but it happens. Deer and similarly hoofed critters can easily slip on ice or wet roads when frightened. Buzzards can either remain on the road or be lumbersome when flying off, often flying in front or next to your car for several seconds. With knowing how cautious and elusive animals can be, let's move on to how you might best spot them. Here's a quick rundown on how to spot animals. Drive slow, be quiet, look far ahead, look high and low, scan the ditches, tree lines, water sources. You're looking for movement and then shapes. Carcasses and splats. Dawn and dusk are the best times. Cooler months are the best seasons. Be patient. Drive slow. In Texas, the backroads speed limit tends to be about 55 miles per hour. I like to go 45 miles per hour. It's much easier to spot and not be suddenly surprised if an animal runs in front of the car. Be quiet. Again, in Texas areas, the roads are often paved with chip seal, which makes the roads a bit noisy. Try driving slower on chip seal. Same concept when driving with mud tires. They are just noisy. Look far ahead. This helps you slow down for safety, take pictures, and predict animal behavior. Look both high and low. Hawks, eagles, and other interesting birds can be literally anywhere, and spotting them could be very hard or even extremely easy. I often see eagles on the ground or on the road scavenging. Hawks are basically the same. Funny thing, I have often thought eagles were vultures until I get closer to them. Watch ditches and tree lines. Animals can come from almost anywhere at any moment. One reason why animals cross all of a sudden is simply to join up with others that you are unaware of on the opposite side of the road. Deer will cross a road because other deer have just crossed before you arrived. Side note, as I improve my spotting skills, I have learned to inspect the ground itself. When scanning ahead, you will often be looking, say, about 3 to 5 feet above the ground. Sounds weird, but I think you get what I mean. I have learned that if I'm not really seeing a whole lot, I have to occasionally focus better on the ground itself. That's where I will see smaller critters like armadillos, coyotes, or even turkeys and pigs pushing through the grass and weeds. This type of scanning is really best for a co-pilot. Look out at meadows and fields, again along tree lines, riverbanks, and water sources of all types. Roads along creeks, rivers, and lakes are often very good locations. Valleys and open areas are best while driving in the mountains. If you are aware of migration routes and nesting areas, that is certainly a plus. Look for movement first, then out of place shapes, meaning whitetail, horns, dark blobs, white patches, etc., etc. Anything that seems odd. If you see roadkill and blood on the pavement, then you are likely in an animal spotting area. We often see dead animals in the ditches, sometimes out in the fields. which is where you might see hawks, eagles, and coyotes. It's fairly obvious, but the best time for spotting animals is dawn and dusk, 6 to 10 a.m., 3 to 7 p.m. Although I see animals so randomly that I can't say that time of day always matters. Cooler weather is usually best seasonally speaking. For us, we go on road trips just finding different routes, and we take vacations during the late spring and summer. We don't really spot quite as much. Cooler seasons, that's when there are fewer leaves and less vegetation to block your view. Fantastic. Be mindful. If you see one animal, there can easily be another. Well, except for your more rare, like eagles and the loners. Between safety and how to spot the animals, there's still more to go, to a degree. First off, be patient. We are constantly surprised when we see animals in places we least expect, like personal property, somebody's yard. I never purposely go out to spot mountain lions and bears. I look for those in zoos. Most any animal can really be dangerous. Keep your goals simple and in control. I keep the windows up, radio turned off, and simply relax. Although some people might tell you to keep your windows down, I only open the windows for pictures and video clips, well, just to get a better view. Some people advise to turn the engine off when you stop. I don't do that either because I may often want to leave quickly. It is possibly best to turn off the engine if you are really taking great pictures. All these animals that we spot are really skittish and shy. But almost every critter you can assume will get up and scoot along very quickly. You have to be very ready if you want to get a good view and take pics and vids of a lot of wild animals. I really must emphasize, what you don't know really can hurt you. Be careful. I hope this information has been helpful to you. I know the safety information was a lot, but it is seriously important. I know you can jump in your car and just haul off and start spotting animals while you're driving. Look, just slow down, take it easy. Don't try too hard, relax. Have a good drive, gain experience, pre-plan as much as you can, and just enjoy yourself. That is the primary goal. And with that, please relax. Take it easy. Be a motoring fanatic on your Road Odyssey, and I will see you later. Bye. I enjoy using fence line or gate entrances to fields. I most often pull off to my left on the oncoming traffic side, making it easier for the drivers behind me to just zoom on past. You obviously have to be very careful and plan on how you do this.